My name is Ariel Prisk, and I am the Student Assistance Counselor at Raritan High School. My role in the school is to assist the students and families of Hazlitt with identifying and confronting barriers that impede on their personal life and academic performance. As the Student Assistance Counselor, I am able to provide school assessment, crisis intervention, individual and group counseling, and referral sources for any student who may be experiencing personal, family, and/or peer difficulties. In addition, the SAC is also available to assist in identifying other issues which pose as barriers to student success, including alcohol, nicotine, other illicit drugs, and mental health concerns. With prom season upon us, I wanted to take the time to introduce myself and to let you know that I am available as a resource within the school. Prom is an exciting time that also comes with some negative behaviors if not addressed beforehand. This video is to help inform the community about the consequences of drugs and alcohol, not only on prom night, but for the general future. Please feel free to contact me with any concerns or questions. I am looking forward to a fun and safe end to the school year.
The Alliance is funded through state money, and what we do is bring prevention and educational programs to the schools, the residents, and different demographics in Hazlitt. What we've done so far over at the high school includes a program, Not Even Once, which provides education and awareness about the deadly supply of illicit drugs. I also have a therapy dog, Avery, who comes to the high school periodically to work with children on positive self-identity and self-esteem. And we've also done youth mental health first aid training to equip our teachers with some of the skills they need to support the students with mental health, as well as teen-to-teen mental health first aid. Later in the video, I include all of my contact information in case you need to reach out, including my email and my telephone number. I have my law degree, my Master's of Science in Clinical Mental Health Counseling, and I am also a licensed professional counselor and a licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselor. While we do not provide direct service, and this video is not legal or medical advice, we do provide support to links and resource so that our citizens will do well. In addition, I also have lived experience, meaning that I am in sustained remission from opioid use disorder for approximately 15 years, and I have also been diagnosed with major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder, and thus many of the things I talk about I've experienced personally, including what we're here to discuss today. Fun at the prom, but fun with safety. Teenage brains are substantially different than adults. They haven't completely developed yet, and so what we often say is they are like a car. Their gas pedal is the reward system, and the brakes are not fully formed, which is their prefrontal lobe. Because the prefrontal cortex is not fully formed, they often struggle with things like impulse control, decision-making, delayed gratification, connecting choices and consequences, and also, too, because of where they are developmentally, they're subject to wanting to have peer approval. And so what we want to try to do as parents and the Alliance is give our children what are known as protective factors so that they can remain healthy and safe. One of the things that we see most around prom is the use of substances. Beginning the use of substances at a younger age while your brain is still developing significantly increases the risk for substance use disorders. It is extremely important that we make sure that during prom season, our teens are not using substances. This includes vaping, alcohol, marijuana, or any other type of drugs. It will keep our children safe and actually make them have a better time. I have included some resources you can use, such as 988, Second Floor, as well as a parent's resource. And I can also make some informal suggestions to you as well. For example, consider going over things with your teen before the prom. You can role play. You can ask what they might do if somebody asks them to have a drink, or if there's vaping in the bathroom, how they would react to that situation. You can also use what I call the moral compass, and which I use with my own children was, would you do this, make this decision and do this action if I were standing right there? Would you be proud to tell me about how you acted? And most importantly, remind them that it's okay to ask for help. If they're not feeling safe, they should trust their instinct and probably get help. Finally, having a safe word or a safe text to communicate with one trusted adult is very important. So if they're not feeling comfortable or if they just rather leave, they can text you or call and use a safe word that would trigger you to come and get them or another adult that they trust. Finally, wanted to talk about how, as adults and caregivers, we can model good behavior and also make sure that we protect ourselves from any liability. Again, this is not legal advice, but just some information for background. In New Jersey, we have social host liability laws, which mean that if you, at your property, serve alcohol or drugs to a person and that person injures somebody else, you can be held liable for damages. In addition, the Supreme Court recently extended that to impose liability on adults between the age of 18 to 21 for serving alcohol and drugs to minors who then cause damage or are hurt themselves. In addition, finally, ethically and morally, we know that children's behavior is impacted by the behavior of the adults they watch. One of the biggest indicators of behavior is whether children think an action is risky or not. So if children see adults consuming alcohol, marijuana, or vaping, they will think it's safe and they're more likely to do it too. So from a moral point and just from having safe and healthy children, we want to make sure that if we're having social functions for pictures or get-togethers or pre-prom parties, that we're ensuring they're substance-free, that everybody is welcome, that there's no ridiculing or negative comments. And again, just make this as a supportive and friendly environment as we can. This has been a couple of tough years for all of us. We're all subject to additional stressors and mental health challenges. So together as a community, we can make prom season safe. If you have any questions in need of assistance, if you'd like to have Avery at a prom picture party, let me know. Please, the Alliance is a stakeholder group and we are here to serve you. So if you have any thoughts or questions, please reach out. And again, my information will be at the end of the video. Thank you.
We would like to thank the Board of Ed, particularly Dr. Ridley, Principal Petrowski, Mr. Zicker, Mr. Vona, as well as the Guidance Department here at Raritan High School. This evening, we're going to go over some underage drinking topics, as well as potential liabilities with the upcoming prom season. First, I'm going to talk about underage drinking, as well as DWIs. For just educational purposes, I'll speak about blood alcohol concentration, which is related to DWIs. Here in New Jersey, a person is guilty of drunk driving if he or she operates a motor vehicle with a blood alcohol concentration, BAC, of 0.08% or greater. I think everyone's aware of that number. We're going to go over some statistics, as well as underage DWIs, as we call in our industry, baby DWIs. So the consequences of underage drinking and driving. In New Jersey, you must be at least 21 years of age to purchase, possess, or consume alcohol beverages. Underage drinking is illegal and it has severe consequences for young people who drink and for adults who provide alcohol beverages to those under the age of 21. If you're under the age of 21 and buy or drink alcohol in a place with an alcohol beverage license, you may be fined $500 and lose your driver's license for 6 months. If you do not have a driver's license, and the suspension will start when you're first eligible to get your license. Also, you may be required to participate in an alcohol education or treatment program. If you're under the age of 21, drive with a detectable amount of alcohol in your system, 0.01 BAC or above, or are convicted of violating the New Jersey zero tolerance law, the penalties are as such: loss or postponement of driving privileges for 30 to 90 days, 15 to 30 days of community service, as well as participation in alcohol and traffic safety program. Now, if your child says, "But mom and dad, I wasn't driving the vehicle," well, if you're drinking in the vehicle, there's a fine for that too. So possessing an open container in a passenger compartment in a motor vehicle, the first offense is $200 and the second offense is $250 with a 10-day community service. Next, we're going to segue into New Jersey versus the nation in regards to alcohol-impaired driving fatality data. These stats are from 2018, which were the most up-to-date stats at the time. So total alcohol-impaired driving fatalities in the U.S. in 2018, there was 10,511. New Jersey's done a great job at deterring alcohol-impaired driving fatalities. We only had 129, which is still too many, but as a percentage, we're one of the leading deterrents in the nation. Next, I'm going to show some data from the 12 to 20-year-old alcohol consumptions. Past month alcohol consumptions for kids between the ages of 12 and 20 were right on par with the remainder of the country. The average was 19.3. New Jersey, we were 19.8. Arrest data, on the first line, you can see under the age of 18 driving under the influence. In 2018, there was 3,468. New Jersey only had 67. So we're trending in the right direction. And I believe that programs like this are going to continue us in the right direction. Total drunkenness, on the bottom right of the screen, 328,772. New Jersey was only there for 66. I think that's a pretty solid number for us. We obviously would like to get that lower, but we here in Hazlet, we're trying to do our best to make sure our kids are safe. And I think these numbers start to reflect for the remainder of the state. In 2018, drunk driving accounted for 29% of all motor vehicle accidents. Out of that 29%, 58% individuals had a blood alcohol concentrate of 0.15 or higher. That's double the legal limit. 17% had a BAC of 0.01 to 0.07, and 25% at 0.08 to 0.14. This chart shows the last 40 years. In 1982, when John Cougar Mellencamp was ruling the music industry, there was 21,113 alcohol-impaired driving fatalities. Through the 90s, we transcended it downwards, which is great, 15,827 to 10,759 in 2009. And since we've plateaued, but as you look at this chart, it's transcending in the right direction. Same with our rate of under 21 alcohol impaired. So with prom coming up, even though the traditional holidays at New Year's Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas do have heightened numbers, we want to treat prom weekends the same as traditional holiday weekends. We want to educate the public that these weekends have heightened underage drinking as well as underage drinking DWIs. So please, parents, show this to your kids, educate them, and spread the right message. Next, Lieutenant Forgione is going to talk about the potential liability that parents as well as kids can face during pre-prom weekend.
Thanks, Mike. So I want to talk about a few very important topics as we go into the prom season. And one of them is the two Good Samaritan laws. The first one is going to be the Overdose Prevention Act. And no one wants to think of the unthinkable, but unfortunately sometimes somebody does by any means utilize drugs. So it's important to let the students and the parents know that the Overdose Prevention Act was created for those people who could reach out to law enforcement and first aid for help. They're free of any criminal violations. They can't be charged even if there's drugs present, paraphernalia present at the scene. If they're acting in good faith to get somebody medical attention if they're experiencing an overdose, that's what that act was created for, and we want those people in that unfortunate situation to get that person or those people medical attention to help them. The second would be you are civilly immune from any liability if you administer any emergency care, whether it be CPR, put them in a rescue breathing position, or any other means. If you're acting in good faith to help that individual or in any other circumstance, you would be free of any civil liability in that case. The next point I want to talk about is very important. We all had prom, we all stayed places, but it's important for parents to know that whether you lease a hotel room, you utilize VRBO or Airbnb, you host it at your own house in your backyard, whether you're present or not, if you have any knowledge that alcohol will likely be present, whether you produced the alcohol for the party or not, you may be civilly liable, you may be criminally liable. And I want to stress that point. We want the children to have fun, enjoy their prom night, the weekend, the prom season as a whole, but don't sign a lease, don't rent a room, don't do that because you could be liable both criminally and civilly. So in closing, on behalf of Sergeant Galvin and I and the entire Hazlet Township Police Department, we'd like to wish all the attendees of the prom, all the students, a safe, healthy, fun prom season, and stay well.